San Diego Comic-Con just finished wrapping in the past weekend, and the biggest announcement made was the return of the Adventure Time universe in its new spin-off series, Fionna and Cake. This show is set to release on Max on August 31st, which is only about a month from now, but today we are still going to go through every shot in the new trailer. Hey, what's up, Spencer? My name is everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you are somebody who is into reading, anime, or fandom, then make sure to subscribe because I am constantly uploading reading vlogs, anime reviews, and discussions of fandom. And with that, let's jump right in. So if you're somebody who hasn't seen the trailer yet, I highly suggest that you go and watch the trailer real quick. I'm gonna leave it down in the description down below, so it'll be really quick and easy. It's only about a minute long. And I and everyone who has already seen it will just sit here and wait for you to come back. So, come here often? Alright, now that we've all seen it, let's jump right in. So in the first 4 seconds, we are shown 2 shots of a city that looks pretty normal at first glance, but once you look at it again, you start to notice that there's quite a lot of things out of place. Sidewalks aren't even, light poles aren't straight, there's bricks missing out of some of the buildings, Magic Man's hat is over here. It's kind of like one of those pictures from highlights where you gotta go through and find everything that's wrong. Next, we have a shot of a BMO-style alarm clock, and in the background, we can see a book with a picture of somebody who looks like a rainicorn on it, and a poster with a crown on it that looks very much like the Ice Kings. Every time I look at this poster, I think it says Drag King on it, and please tell me that I'm not the only one. Then we pull out to see Fionna for the first time in all her fame and glory. In the next shot, we get to see Fionna and Cake together for the first time, and obviously Cake is in a crate, suggesting that we're starting in a place where Cake can't talk or stretch or do the other magical things that we're used to her doing. In the next shot, we see an aquarium with Gunther statues in front of it. Then we see some shoes passing by, but I personally can't identify anybody in specific. Now, obviously, I'm just one person going through all of these shots, and I am only so familiar with Adventure Time, so I'm sure that there are plenty of things that I have missed. So, if you see anything, feel free to point it out in the comments down below. Next up, we have Human Marshall Lee, and I am obsessed with the fact that they made him black. And then we get another shot of normal cat Cake, while Fionna is saying,
Cake's been acting really weird lately.
What's that supposed to mean? Is Cake now starting to act all magical and talk and stuff like that, or is something else wrong? Now we get to see human version of Ash, Wildberry Princess, and Hot Dog Princess, with a few more things that are looking kind of off in the background before seeing human Prince Bubblegum. I love the fact that they made him work at a bakery. It just makes so much sense for this version of his character. Cutting over to a bus, we get to see a human version of Banana Guard, and I'm not sure who's sitting next to him, which bothers me because I feel like I recognize this character, I just can't place who it is. And back here we seem to have a nymph, and then we cut to the front of the bus where we get to see Abracadaniel on the right, and it appears that Fionna works as a tour bus guide. Then we cut to Fionna in the woods, as she's been saying.
What if she's just bored with everything and wishes the world was more magical? It should be more magical.
So clearly we're currently in a universe where magic isn't really a thing. With the glitches that we're seeing, is this something that could be caused by the Ice Crown, by just magic in general, or is there a being like the Lick who's doing something? Next is a shot of magical girl Fionna before we see Cake saving some children from falling and cutting back to magical girl Fionna. Then we get a look at what appears to be non-magical Cake running through a city that is very different than the one that Fionna was in before, which I'm assuming means that they are now in a different universe. And looking at the architecture, we can actually see that this is Human Island, even though none of these characters are the same as the ones that were on Human Island in the original Adventure Time show. Simon is shown shaving next, and he has a streak of white through his hair, so he must be using the Ice Crown. And then we see what appears to be the classic Fionna and Cake in the ooh that we all know and love. Next is this market filled with plant and bug people, then human male lumpy space princess. I really love the lumpiness of the coat and how he still has his star V at the fanny pack. Cake screams and falls before we get a shot of Fionna as a mail carrier and then a lifeguard. maybe she's trying a variety of jobs and attempting to find her place in the world, only to discover that she doesn't belong in this world at all. We cut back to Simon, who appears to be having a hard time like always, before showing Cake fighting what appears to be non-flying squirrel. Simon is also fighting something really big and scary before being shown walking through the woods. In the next shot, we see some oozers and then cut to Fionna riding on a bike over a war field of fire people with the kid who's cosplaying as Fionna. And for some reason, she looks really chill about it. Next, it cuts to a shot of the same kid cosplaying as Fionna while staring at this Fionna and Cake script that's in the trash. And I can only assume that the person standing next to the trash can is Simon. And based on the background, it looks like this is all happening on the human island world that we previously saw. Then we see Simon reaching for the ice crown while young Marceline looks on before it cuts to this red creature fighting a fire monster. We get another shot of human island before cutting back to Simon and young Marceline, and then Fionna running after Cake. There's a chicken with 13 eyes, and then a shot of Simon hanging upside down while being carried by adult Finn, before cutting away to this swampy area, which might be in reference to where Marceline previously had her house. Next, there's a shot of Cake fighting non-flying squirrel again, except this time she has the upper hand. Then we cut to classic Fionna and Cake fighting some candy people. We get a glimpse of Ice King playing the piano, but he seems to be in a different art style than the rest of the show. And then Fionna and Cake are showered in an explosion of rainbow sparkles. In the next shot, we see Fionna and Cake running down a hall lined with prismos before cutting to Fionna saying,
I knew my life was supposed to be magic.
And jumping through a portal into space, which is where the trailer ends. So what does this all mean? Well, according to this Collider article, Fionna and Cake are going to have to face multiple challenges, including an evil menace trying to erase them from existence? God damn. Personally, I think that the evil menace that they're talking about is going to be Simon himself. We all know that the ice crown drives the wearer to madness, and Simon is the person who essentially created Fionna and Cake. He's the only person who truly knows that they exist, so who better to seek their demise than the man who created them himself? Adventure Time is known for going to some really dark places, and I can see the writers getting really deep with this. Either way, I think that things are going to start going wrong with Simon, and that it's going to be this child who is cosplaying as Fionna who ends up jumping across the universes, grabbing Fionna from her non-magical world, and dragging her into these adventures. I think that the child probably heard a lot about Fionna and Cake from Simon, and so when things started to go wrong, they thought, I know the perfect people for the job. So that was the Fionna and Cake trailer. What are your thoughts on it? What are your predictions for the upcoming show? What were some of the cameos and Easter eggs that I missed? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. But besides that, make sure to stay safe and have a fantastic day. Bye.